The coffee shop was crowded, filled with the usual Tuesday afternoon rush of students and professionals. Luna Thompson smoothed down her oversized sweater nervously, second-guessing every choice she'd made that morning. No makeup. Hair twisted into a messy bun. Jeans instead of a dress. She should have tried harder for this blind date. Then she saw him. Lee Min-jun sat at a corner table, and when their eyes met across the room, everything else faded. He didn't look disappointed by her casual appearance. Instead, something flickered in his dark eyes. Recognition, hunger, something deeper that made her breath catch. "Luna." His voice was low, controlled as he stood to greet her. She nodded, unable to speak for a moment. He was devastatingly handsome in an understated way. Sharp jawline, perfectly styled black hair, expensive but subtle clothing that screamed quiet power. What she didn't know was that this wasn't their first meeting. For months he'd been watching her, following her routine, learning her habits, and now finally he had engineered this moment through her best friend Sophia, who had no idea her boyfriend Ryan worked for the most dangerous man in the city. "I'm sorry I'm late," Luna said, sliding into the seat across from him. "The bus was delayed and I—" "You're not late," Min-jun interrupted gently, his accent barely noticeable. "I arrived early." 3 hours early, he thought, but didn't say. He'd needed time to ensure the meeting would go perfectly. The corner table with the best lighting, the barista who'd been paid to make Luna's favorite drink without her ordering, the carefully orchestrated coincidence of her favorite song playing softly in the background. "Sophia told me you're in business?" Luna asked, accepting the latte he'd already ordered for her. She blinked in surprise. "This is exactly how I like it." "Lucky guess," he said with a slight smile. "And yes, I handle various investments." Luna studied his face, noting the way he chose his words carefully. There was something mysterious about him, an undercurrent of danger that should have made her uncomfortable. Instead, she found herself leaning forward, intrigued. What kind of investments? The kind that require discretion. His fingers drummed once against the table, a nervous habit she'd observed during his months of watching her. "But enough about work. Sophia tells me you're a librarian at the university." "Assistant librarian," Luna corrected, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "I help manage the rare books collection. It's not glamorous, but I love it." Min-jun's expression softened genuinely. He'd watched her through the library windows countless times, seen the way her face lit up when she handled those ancient texts, the gentle care she took with each volume. "There's something beautiful about preserving knowledge," he said, "about protecting things that are precious and irreplaceable." The way he said it, with such intensity, made Luna's pulse quicken. Most people think it's boring. Most people don't understand value when they see it. Their conversation flowed effortlessly for 2 hours. Luna found herself laughing more than she had in months, drawn to his quiet intelligence and the way he listened to every word she said, as if it were the most important thing in the world. What she didn't notice was how he never touched his coffee, how his eyes occasionally flicked to the windows, scanning for threats, how his phone buzzed repeatedly with messages he ignored completely, messages from Choi Jae-sung about territory disputes and rival gangs that seemed insignificant compared to the woman sitting across from him. "I should probably head home," Luna said reluctantly, as the sun began to set. "Early day tomorrow." "Of course." Min-jun stood immediately, helping her with her coat. His fingers brushed her shoulders, and she shivered at the contact. "May I walk you to your bus stop?" "You don't have to." "I want to." The simple honesty in his voice made her nod. Outside, the evening air was crisp. They walked slowly, neither wanting the date to end. Luna was surprised by how safe she felt beside him, how his presence seemed to create a bubble of calm in the busy city. "Luna," he said as they reached her stop, "would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow?" "Tomorrow?" She bit her lip, considering. "I usually spend Wednesday evenings at home, reading." "Then perhaps Friday." The slight vulnerability in his voice, as if her answer truly mattered, made her decision easy. "Friday sounds perfect." When her bus arrived, Min-jun helped her up the steps. Through the window, she watched him standing on the sidewalk until the bus disappeared around the corner. What Luna didn't see was the black sedan that had been following them at a distance, or Min-jun's subtle hand signal that sent his security team home. For 2 hours, the most powerful man in the Korean underground had walked the streets completely unprotected, and he hadn't cared about anything except the woman beside him. Back in his penthouse apartment, Min-jun stood before a wall that would have terrified Luna. Dozens of photographs, Luna leaving her apartment, Luna at work, Luna having coffee with Sophia, Luna reading in the park. Months of careful observation, of learning everything about her. His phone buzzed. Jae-sung. How did it go? She said yes to Friday. And Min-jun touched one of the photos, Luna laughing at something she was reading, completely unaware she was being watched. And I think I'm in trouble. What kind of trouble? Min-jun closed his eyes, remembering the way Luna had looked at him when she laughed, the genuine warmth in her eyes, the way she'd unconsciously leaned toward him during their conversation. The kind where I might actually care what happens to her. There was silence on the other end. In their world, caring was a weakness. Attachment was a liability. Love was a death sentence. Min-jun... I know. He hung up and stared at the wall of photographs. Tomorrow he would have to make a choice. Continue watching Luna from the shadows, or step into the light and risk everything. Her safety, his empire, both their lives. But as he remembered the sound of her laugh, Min-jun realized the choice had already been made. Friday evening arrived with an autumn storm. Luna stood in front of her bedroom mirror, changing outfits for the third time. The black dress felt too formal, the casual sweater too plain. She finally settled on a deep blue blouse and dark jeans, elegant but approachable. Her phone buzzed. I'm downstairs. Take your time. Luna peered out her window and froze. A sleek black car waited at the curb, and Min-jun stood beside it in a perfectly tailored coat, seemingly unbothered by the rain. Oh my God, she whispered. This wasn't a college student's beat-up Honda. This was serious money. Downstairs, Min-jun's eyes lit up when he saw her. You look beautiful. Thank you. She glanced at the car, a Mercedes that probably cost more than her annual salary. This is... nice. I hope you don't mind. I thought we could go somewhere quieter tonight. The restaurant he'd chosen was intimate and expensive, the kind of place that didn't advertise and required reservations months in advance. Yet they were seated immediately at the best table, overlooking the city lights. How did you get us in here? Luna asked, accepting the wine menu from a server who treated Min-jun with unusual deference. I know the owner. It was true in a way. Min-jun owned the building, and the restaurant paid him protection money. But Luna didn't need to know that. Over dinner, their conversation deepened. Luna found herself sharing things she rarely told anyone, her dreams of traveling to see the world's great libraries, her fear that she was playing life too safe, her complicated relationship with her mother, who wanted her to pursue something more practical than books. What about you? She asked. Do you have family? Min-jun's expression grew guarded. My parents died when I was young. I was raised by my uncle. I'm sorry. It was a long time ago. He didn't mention that his uncle had been the previous head of their organization, or that he died in a territorial war when Min-jun was 25, leaving him to inherit an empire built on violence and fear. Is that how you got into business? Family connections? Something like that. Luna sensed there was more to the story, but she didn't push. Everyone had secrets. What she didn't know was that while they talked, Min-jun was conducting business through subtle signals. A nod to the server meant his men should increase security around Luna's apartment building. A specific way of placing his wine glass told his lieutenant to postpone a meeting that might involve bloodshed. Every gesture was calculated to protect the illusion of normalcy while ensuring Luna's world remained untouched by his. Luna, he said as dessert arrived, I need to ask you something. Okay. Are you seeing anyone else? The vulnerability in his voice surprised her. No, are you? No. He paused, seeming to weigh his words carefully. I don't do casual relationships. When I care about someone, I care completely. There was something intense in his eyes that made Luna's breath catch. What are you saying? I'm saying that I'd like to see where this goes between us. Exclusively. Luna felt her heart race. They'd only had 2 dates, but something about Min-jun felt different. Serious. Real. I'd like that too. The relief on his face was unmistakable. After dinner, instead of taking her straight home, Min-jun drove to a hilltop overlooking the city. The rain had stopped, leaving the air clean and sharp. It's beautiful, Luna said, stepping out of the car. I come here when I need to think. Minjun joined her at the railing. It helps put things in perspective. What kinds of things do you need perspective on? Whether to tell you the truth about who I am, he thought. Whether to run before I destroy your life. Business decisions. The future. He turned to face her. What I want versus what's practical. And what do you want? The question hung in the air between them. Minjun looked at Luna, her hair catching the city lights, her eyes bright with curiosity and something deeper, and felt something crack inside his chest. Something I probably can't have. Before Luna could ask what he meant, his phone rang. The ringtone was different from his usual calls, urgent, demanding. I'm sorry, I have to take this. He stepped away, but Luna caught fragments. Can't it wait until tomorrow? No, I'm not available. Handle it yourself. When he returned, his entire demeanor had changed. The relaxed man from dinner was gone, replaced by someone harder, more distant. I need to take you home. Is everything okay? Just work. But his jaw was tight, and his eyes kept scanning their surroundings in a way that made Luna nervous. The drive back was quiet. When they reached her building, Minjun walked her to the door but didn't try to kiss her goodnight. Will I see you again soon? Luna asked. Yes. He touched her face gently. But, Luna, if anything ever feels wrong, if anyone ever makes you uncomfortable or asks questions about me, I want you to call me immediately. Promise me. Minjun, you're scaring me a little. Promise me. The urgency in his voice made her nod. I promise. After she went inside, Minjun sat in his car for a long moment, watching her apartment window until the light came on. Then he made a call. Jae-sung, what's the situation? Kim Dong-wook's men hit one of our warehouses. They're sending a message. Minjun closed his eyes. Kim Dong-wook was the head of a rival organization, ambitious and ruthless. If he was making moves against Minjun's territory, it meant war was coming. Casualties. 3 of ours injured, none dead. But Minjun, they left something behind. A photo. What kind of photo? Silence. Jae-sung. A photo of you and Luna at the restaurant tonight. Minjun's blood turned to ice. How? We're investigating, but they know about her. Minjun stared up at Luna's window, where her silhouette moved across the curtains as she got ready for bed. In one evening, his worst fear had materialized. By caring about her, by being seen with her, he'd painted a target on her back. Double the security around her building. Discreet surveillance only. She can't know. Minjun, maybe you should... No. His voice was steel. We protect her. Whatever it takes. And if Kim escalates? Minjun thought about Luna's laugh, the way she'd looked at him when she promised to call if anything felt wrong. She trusted him. She had no idea that simply knowing him had put her life in danger. Then we end this quickly. As he drove away, Minjun made a decision that would change everything. He would protect Luna, even if it meant revealing who he really was, even if it meant losing her forever, because some things were worth any sacrifice, even love. Luna didn't hear from Minjun for 3 days. She tried not to read too much into it. He'd said he was busy with work, and she understood that successful people had demanding schedules. But something about their last conversation nagged at her. The way he'd changed after that phone call, the urgency in his voice when he'd made her promise to call him if anything felt wrong. On Wednesday evening, while organizing returns at the library, she noticed a man in a dark suit reading near the entrance. Nothing unusual about that, except he'd been there for 2 hours without turning a single page. Excuse me. She approached him politely. Are you finding everything you need? He looked up, startled. Yes, thank you, just researching. Luna glanced at the book in his hands, a children's picture book about farm animals. Interesting research. The man's face flushed. It's for my nephew. Of course. Luna smiled, but something felt off. As she walked away, she caught him speaking quietly into his phone in what sounded like Korean. That evening, Luna called Sophia. Have you heard from Ryan lately? Luna asked. About Minjun? Why, is everything okay? I think so, it's just... He's been quiet since our date Friday. and there was this weird guy at the library today. Luna, you're overthinking. Rich guys are busy. Give him space. But Luna couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Meanwhile, across the city, Min-jun was in the middle of a crisis. They hit 2 more locations last night, Jae-sung reported, spreading photos across Min-jun's desk. And they're not being subtle about it. Min-jun studied the images, his warehouses, his legitimate businesses, all bearing signs of Kim Dong-wook's signature violence. But it was the message spray-painted on the last building that made his blood run cold. Pretty librarian. Shame if something happened. They're escalating. It gets worse. Jae-sung pulled out his phone. We intercepted this an hour ago. The recording was brief but clear. Kim Dong-wook's voice giving orders to have Luna followed. To learn her routine, to find her weaknesses. How long before they make a move? Days, maybe hours. Min-jun, you have to tell her. Min-jun stood at his office window, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, Luna was probably reading before bed, completely unaware that her life was in danger because of him. If I tell her who I am, she'll run. If you don't tell her, she might die. The words hung heavy in the air. Min-jun had built his empire on calculated risks, but this was different. This was Luna. Increase her security detail. I want eyes on her 24/7. She's going to notice. Then make sure she doesn't. But Luna was already noticing. The next morning, she saw the same black car parked across from her apartment that had been there the night before. Different driver, same watchful presence. At the coffee shop where she grabbed her usual morning latte, a woman in designer clothes seemed to be following her movements with unusual interest. By Thursday evening, Luna's nerves were frayed. She was walking home from the library when her phone rang. Luna? Min-jun's voice was warm, familiar, and she felt some of her tension ease. Hi. I'm sorry I've been out of touch. Work has been complicated. It's okay. She paused at a crosswalk, glancing around. The street seemed normal, but she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Min-jun, can I ask you something? Anything. What exactly do you do for work? Silence stretched between them. Luna could hear traffic in the background, voices speaking in rapid Korean. Why do you ask? Because strange things have been happening since our date. People watching me, following me, and I keep thinking about what you said about calling you if anything felt wrong. Min-jun's heart stopped. Where are you right now? Walking home from work. Min-jun, you're scaring me. Listen to me carefully. I need you to go into the nearest public place, a store, a restaurant, anywhere with people. Don't go home. What? Why? Please, Luna, trust me. The urgency in his voice made her look around more carefully. That's when she saw him, a man in a leather jacket who'd been behind her for 3 blocks, now talking on his phone while watching her. There's someone following me, she whispered. I know, I'm sending help. Go into the bookstore on 5th Street. It should be just ahead of you. Luna's mind raced. How did he know where she was? How did he know about the bookstore? Min-jun, how do you... I'll explain everything. Just get somewhere safe. Luna ducked into the bookstore, her heart pounding. The elderly owner looked up from his register with concern. Are you all right, dear? I think someone's following me. The man's expression grew serious. Come to the back office. I'll call the police. No, Luna said quickly, surprising herself. I mean, I have someone coming to help. 10 minutes later, Min-jun burst through the bookstore door with 2 men Luna didn't recognize. His usual composed demeanor was gone, replaced by something fierce and protective. Are you hurt? He reached for her hands, checking her over as if she might be injured. I'm fine. But Min-jun, what's going on? Who were those people? Min-jun looked at the bookstore owner. Could you give us a moment? The older man nodded and disappeared into the stacks. Luna, I need to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. She studied his face, the tension in his jaw, the way his companions stood by the door like guards, the expensive watch on his wrist that she was just now realizing probably cost more than her car. You're not just a businessman, are you? No. What are you? Min-jun took a deep breath. This was the moment he'd been dreading since the day he first saw her. I'm the head of a Korean organization. We handle various enterprises. Some legal, some not. Luna stared at him, processing. You mean like the mafia? That's a crude term, but essentially, yes. The bookstore suddenly felt too small, Too quiet. Luna sank into a nearby chair. The people following me. Rivals. They know about you, about us. They're trying to get to me through you. Through me. Luna's voice was flat. Because we're dating. Yes. So by being with you, I'm in danger. Minjun knelt beside her chair. Luna, I never wanted this to happen. I've been trying to protect you without you knowing, but protect me without me knowing. Luna's voice rose. You've been having me watched. For your safety. For how long? Minjun hesitated. Since before we met. Luna felt the world tilt. What do you mean before we met? The blind date. It wasn't random. I arranged it. You arranged it. Luna stood up abruptly. Through Sophia? Through her boyfriend, Ryan. He works for me. Luna felt sick. So none of it was real. Our meeting, our dates, everything was just... What? Some kind of game? No. Minjun stood too, reaching for her. My feelings for you are real. Everything between us is real. But built on lies. Luna backed away from him. You've been watching me, manipulating my life, putting me in danger, and lying to me about who you are. I was trying to protect you. By lying to me? By keeping you away from my world. Well, congratulations. Your world found me anyway. The hurt in Luna's eyes was worse than any physical pain Minjun had ever endured. Luna, please, I need to go home. You can't, it's not safe. Then where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? My entire life has been turned upside down because you decided to. What, collect me? It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain to me how any of this is okay. Minjun looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not just hurt, but fear. Fear of him, of what he represented, of the world he'd dragged her into without her consent. You're right, he said quietly. None of this is okay. I should have stayed away from you. But you didn't. No, I didn't. Why? The question hung between them, heavy with everything unsaid. Minjun thought about all the reasons, her laugh, her kindness, the way she made him feel human again. But in this moment, with Luna looking at him like he was a stranger, none of those reasons felt like enough. Because I'm selfish, he said finally. Because I wanted something beautiful in my life and I didn't care what it cost. Well, now you know what it costs. Luna walked toward the door, then stopped. I need time to think. Luna, please, just give me time. After she left with one of his men as protection, Minjun stood alone in the bookstore, surrounded by thousands of stories. But none of them had prepared him for this, for the moment when the woman he loved looked at him and saw a monster. Luna didn't sleep that night. She sat in a hotel room that Minjun had arranged, staring out at the city lights while two of his men stood guard outside her door. Everything felt surreal, like she'd fallen into someone else's life, someone else's nightmare. Her phone buzzed constantly with texts from Minjun. I know you need space, but please let me know you're okay. I never meant for any of this to happen. I'm sorry. She didn't respond to any of them. Instead, she called Sophia. Luna, it's 2 a.m. Did you know? Silence. Sophia, did you know what Ryan does for work? What Minjun really is? Luna, I don't know what you're talking about. He's a criminal, Sophia. The head of some kind of Korean mafia organization, and Ryan works for him. More silence then. That's impossible. Ryan works in import-export. That's probably not a lie. I bet he does import and export things, just not legal things. Luna heard Sophia moving around, probably waking up Ryan. Luna, where are you? Are you safe? I'm in a hotel with bodyguards outside my door because apparently dating your friend's setup makes me a target for rival gangs. This is insane. Ryan would never. Ask him. Sophia. Ask him right now if he knows Lee Minjun. Luna heard muffled voices, then Sophia came back on the line. He says he can explain. I bet he can. Luna hung up and threw her phone across the room. The next morning, Minjun arrived at his office to find Jae-sung waiting with grim news. Kim Dong-wook wants a meeting. When? Tonight. Neutral territory. Minjun poured himself coffee with steady hands, though inside he was anything but calm. What does he want? To negotiate. For what? Jae-sung hesitated. He wants you to give up Luna voluntarily. In exchange, he'll back off your territory. The coffee cup shattered against the wall. He wants me to what? He's calling her your weakness. Says if you truly care about her safety, you'll walk away. Min-jun's laugh was bitter. And if I don't? He'll escalate, make her a direct target. So my choices are to abandon the woman I love or watch her die because of me. Min-jun, set up the meeting. Meanwhile, Luna was having her own crisis meeting with Sophia and Ryan in the hotel restaurant. Ryan looked uncomfortable, avoiding eye contact as he confirmed everything Min-jun had told her. I handle logistics, he said quietly. Transportation, warehousing. I don't ask questions about what's being moved. But you know, Luna said, I know enough. Sophia looked devastated. How could you not tell me? Because I love you and I didn't want you involved in this world. Like, Min-jun didn't want me involved, Luna asked. Ryan nodded. He's not a bad man, Luna. He's actually tried to clean up a lot of the organization's operations since he took over. Less violence, more legitimate business. He's still a criminal. Yes, but he's also completely in love with you. Luna felt tears threaten. That doesn't make this okay. No, Ryan agreed, but it makes it complicated. That evening, Min-jun sat across from Kim Dong-wook in a private dining room of a restaurant that served as neutral ground for their kind of business. Kim was younger than Min-jun, ambitious and cruel, with a reputation for unnecessary violence. You look tired, Min-jun, Kim said, cutting into his steak. Love will do that to a man. What do you want? Direct. I like that. Kim smiled. I want you to end your relationship with the librarian, and in return, I stop targeting your operations. We go back to our respective territories, and everyone stays happy. And if I refuse? Kim's smile widened. Then your pretty girlfriend becomes a casualty of war, along with anyone else you care about. Min-jun's hands remained steady on the table, but inside, rage burned white-hot. You're threatening an innocent woman. I'm offering you a choice, your empire or your heart. Most men in our position would choose power. Most men in our position don't have hearts left to choose. Exactly my point. Kim leaned back. She's made you weak, Min-jun, vulnerable. That's dangerous for everyone. Or maybe she's made me realize what's worth fighting for. Pretty words. But we both know how this ends if you choose her. She dies, probably painfully, and you live with the guilt forever. Is that really love? Min-jun stared at his untouched food, Kim's words echoing in his mind. Was loving Luna really just another form of selfishness? Was he putting his own desires above her safety? I need time to consider. 24 hours, Kim said, standing. Then I start making good on my promises. After Kim left, Min-jun sat alone in the restaurant, his phone heavy in his pocket. He wanted to call Luna, to hear her voice, to pretend for a moment that they were just a normal couple dealing with normal problems. Instead, he called Jae-sung. How's her security? Tight. But Min-jun, if Kim really wants to get to her, he will. You know that. I know. So what are you going to do? Min-jun closed his eyes, seeing Luna's face the night before, the hurt, the betrayal, the fear. I'm going to do what I should have done from the beginning. Which is? Let her go. But even as he said it, Min-jun knew it wouldn't be that simple. Kim wouldn't just let Luna walk away now that he'd identified her as leverage. And Luna herself was too smart, too curious. She'd want answers, closure, understanding. The next morning, Luna was packing her few belongings when Min-jun knocked on her hotel room door. She'd been expecting him, dreading this conversation. How are you? He asked, noting the dark circles under her eyes. I've been better. She gestured for him to sit, but remained standing herself. I've been thinking about what you said, about your world finding me anyway. Luna, let me finish. Her voice was steady, controlled. You were right. The moment you decided to pursue me, you put me in danger. The moment you arranged that blind date, you took away my choice. Min-jun nodded, accepting the blow. But, Luna continued, I also understand why you did it. He looked up, surprised. You saw something you wanted and you went after it. In your world, that's probably how everything works. You take what you want when you want it. It's not that simple. Isn't it? Luna sat down across from him. You wanted me, so you found a way to get close to me. You wanted to protect me, so you had me watched. You wanted to keep me safe from your world, so you lied to me about who you are. I know what you were trying to do, but Minjun, you can't protect someone by controlling their life without their knowledge. You can't love someone while lying to them about who you are. Minjun felt something break inside his chest. So where does that leave us? Luna was quiet for a long moment, studying his face. I don't know. Luna, there's something else you need to know. He told her about Kim Dong-wook, about the ultimatum, about the choice he was being forced to make. With each word, he watched Luna's face grow paler. So he wants you to choose between me and your business. Yes, and if you choose me, he'll escalate the war. More people will get hurt, including me, especially you. Luna stood up, por favor. Continue girando a sua resposta. Claude Four sonnait and walked to the window, looking out at the city below. So really, there's no choice at all. You have to let me go. That's what I thought. Minjun's voice was quiet. But then I realized something. What? Kim is right about one thing. Loving you has changed me, but not in the way he thinks. Minjun stood, moving closer to her. Before you, I made decisions based on power, on control, on what would benefit my organization. Now I find myself asking different questions. Like what? Like what kind of man do I want to be? What kind of life do I want to live? What's actually worth protecting? Luna turned to face him. And what are your answers? Minjun looked at her, really looked at her, memorizing every detail of her face. I want to be the kind of man who deserves you. I want a life where I don't have to lie to the people I love, and I want to protect the things that make life worth living, not just the things that make me powerful. Minjun, I'm getting out, Luna. The words hung in the air between them. What do you mean? I mean I'm leaving the organization, transferring power to Jae Sung, liquidating my assets, walking away from everything. Luna stared at him. You can't do that. Why not? Because people like Kim won't just let you walk away. And what about all the people who depend on you? Your employees, your people? Minjun smiled sadly. You're worried about my people. I'm worried about you. The admission slipped out before Luna could stop it. Luna, Minjun stepped closer. I know I've made terrible choices. I know I've hurt you, lied to you, put you in danger. I know I have no right to ask for forgiveness, let alone a second chance. But I love you. Not the way I loved power or control or the empire I built. I love you the way someone loves air or sunlight or hope. I love you like you're the only thing that makes sense in a world that's been chaos for so long. Tears spilled down Luna's cheeks. That's not fair. I know. You can't just say things like that and expect... I don't expect anything. Minjun reached up, gently wiping away her tears. I'm telling you because you deserve to know. Because even if you walk away, even if you should walk away, I want you to know that loving you changed everything for me. Minjun, even if you leave your organization, Kim will be dealt with. Something in his tone made Luna step back. What does that mean? It means I'm not walking away quietly. I'm making sure that no one will ever threaten you again. You're talking about killing him. Minjun didn't deny it. So you'll commit murder to protect me, but you won't just stay away from me to keep me safe. Staying away from you won't keep you safe anymore. Kim has already identified you as my weakness. The only way to protect you now is to eliminate the threat. Luna sank into a chair, overwhelmed. This is insane. All of this is insane. I know. I'm a librarian, Minjun. I catalog books and help college students find research materials. I've never even gotten a speeding ticket. And now you're talking about gang wars and murder and I'm sorry. Minjun knelt beside her chair. I'm sorry I brought this into your life. I'm sorry I fell in love with you. I'm sorry I'm too selfish to let you go, even when I know I should. Luna looked down at him, this powerful, dangerous man kneeling beside her chair like a supplicant. What happens if I say yes? Yes to what? To trying, to seeing if we can build something real, something honest, after all the lies. Minjun's breath caught. You'd do that? I don't know. Maybe. But I need to understand what I'd be saying yes to. What does your life look like if you leave your organization? I don't know, Minjun admitted. I've never lived any other way. And what if you can't leave? What if it's not that simple? Then I'll find a way to make it simple. Even if it means war? Even if it means war. Luna was quiet for a long time, processing everything. Finally, she spoke. I need conditions. Anything. No more lies, ever, about anything. Agreed. No more making decisions about my life without consulting me. Agreed. And if we do this, if we try, I want to understand your world, all of it. I don't want to be protected from the truth anymore. Minjun hesitated. Luna, some truths are... No, her voice was firm. If I'm going to be with you, if I'm going to trust you, I need to know who you really are, all of it. Minjun nodded slowly. It won't be easy to hear. I'm stronger than you think. I'm beginning to realize that. Luna stood up, and Minjun rose with her. So what happens now? Now I go handle Kim Dong-wook. And then, if you'll have me, I spend the rest of my life proving that I can be the man you deserve. Luna studied his face, seeing past the careful control to the vulnerability underneath. Minjun? Yes? Don't get yourself killed trying to protect me. I'd rather live in danger with you than live safely without you. The admission hung between them, heavy with possibility and hope. Does that mean... It means I love you too. Luna's voice was barely a whisper. Despite everything, despite all the reasons I shouldn't, I love you too. Minjun pulled her into his arms, holding her like she might disappear. I won't let anything happen to you. And I won't let anything happen to you. Luna, you don't understand what you're saying. Yes, I do. She pulled back to look at him. I'm saying that if we're doing this, we're doing it together. No more protecting me by keeping me in the dark. No more making decisions for me. We face whatever comes next as partners. Partners, Minjun repeated, as if testing the word. Partners. For the first time in days, Minjun smiled, really smiled. I like the sound of that. Good, because you're stuck with me now. I can think of worse fates, Luna laughed, and the sound filled the hotel room with something that had been missing, hope. But outside, storm clouds were gathering. Kim Dong-wook had given Minjun 24 hours to decide, and that time was almost up. The choice had been made, but the consequences were just beginning. The meeting was set for midnight at the old warehouse district, neutral ground that had seen too many negotiations end in bloodshed. Minjun arrived with Jae Sung and 2 other men, while Kim Dong-wook brought twice as many. You're late, Kim said, checking his expensive watch. I'm exactly on time. Minjun's voice was calm, controlled. Have you made your decision? I have. And? Minjun looked directly into Kim's eyes. I choose her. Kim's smile was predatory. I was hoping you'd say that. But, Minjun continued, I'm not giving up my territory. The smile faltered. Excuse me? You heard me. I'm keeping Luna, and I'm keeping my business. You get nothing. Kim laughed, but there was no humor in it. You think you can have both. You think love makes you invincible. No, I think love makes me dangerous. Dangerous how? Minjun pulled out his phone and played a recording. Kim's own voice filled the warehouse. Detailed discussions of drug shipments, human trafficking routes, plans to eliminate rivals. Enough evidence to put him away for life. Where did you get that? I've been recording our conversations for years. Insurance, you might call it, but now it's leverage. Kim's face darkened. You're threatening me? I'm offering you a choice. The same choice you offered me. Minjun's voice was steel. Walk away from Luna, stop targeting my operations, and these recordings stay private. Continue your war, and I hand everything over to the federal prosecutors who've been trying to build a case against you for 3 years. You'd destroy yourself in the process. Maybe. But I'd destroy you first. The warehouse fell silent, except for the sound of rain beginning to fall on the metal roof. Kim's men shifted nervously, hands moving toward weapons. You're bluffing, Kim said finally. Am I? Minjun pulled out a second phone. One call to Agent Sarah Martinez at the FBI. She's been very interested in your organization. Kim's face went white. Agent Martinez was known for her relentless pursuit of organized crime figures. You son of a... Careful, Minjun warned. I'm offering you a way out. Take it. And if I don't? Then we find out how much you're willing to lose for the sake of pride. Kim stared at him for a long moment, calculating odds, weighing options. Finally he spoke. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Minjun's voice was final. Because if anything happens to Luna, if she so much as gets a suspicious phone call, I don't just release the recordings. I come for you personally. And unlike you, I don't make threats I'm not prepared to follow through on. Kim turned to leave, then stopped. You think you've won? You think you can just walk away from this life and live happily ever after? I think I'm willing to try. She'll never truly accept what you are, what you've done. When she learns the details, and she will learn them, she'll run. Maybe, but that's her choice to make. And if she stays, if she tries to live in your world, it'll destroy her. The violence, the constant fear, the knowledge of what you're capable of. It'll eat away at her until there's nothing left of the woman you fell in love with. Minjun felt the words hit home, but his expression didn't change. That's a risk I'm willing to take. No, Kim said with a cruel smile. That's a risk you're willing to make her take. How noble. After Kim and his men left, Jae-sung turned to Minjun. That was either brilliant or suicidal. Probably both. He's not wrong, you know, about the recordings. Using them against him implicates you too. I know. And he's not wrong about Luna either. This world, it changes people. Even good people. Minjun was quiet for a moment, staring out at the rain. Jae-sung, do you think I'm being selfish, keeping her in my life? Honestly, I think you're being human. For the first time since I've known you, you're making decisions with your heart instead of just your head. And you think that's good? I think it's terrifying. But maybe that's what love is supposed to be. Meanwhile, Luna was having her own moment of truth. She'd returned to her apartment under heavy security, trying to process everything that had happened. Her phone rang. Sophia. Luna, thank God. Are you okay? I'm alive. Ryan told me what's been happening. About the threats. About Minjun's meeting tonight. He told you about the meeting. He's worried, we both are. Luna sank onto her couch. Sophia, what am I doing? 3 days ago, my biggest problem was whether to buy name brand or generic cereal. Now I'm in love with a man who might not come home tonight because he's fighting a gang war over me. Are you in love with him? Yes. The answer came without hesitation. Despite everything, the lies, the danger, the insanity of it all, yes. Then you fight for him. How? I don't know anything about his world. I don't know how to help him. You help him by being exactly who you are. Luna, Ryan says Minjun has changed since he met you. He's making different choices, asking different questions. Kim Dong-wook said something similar, that I've made him weak. Maybe you have. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Luna was quiet, thinking. Sophia, what if I can't handle it? What if I learn things about him that I can't live with? Then you'll deal with that when it happens. But Luna, you can't live your life based on what-ifs. Even when the what-ifs involve murder and organized crime? Even then. After Sophia hung up, Luna sat alone in her apartment, listening to the rain and waiting for news. Her phone buzzed with a text from Minjun. It's over, Kim, back down, I'm coming to you. Relief flooded through her, followed immediately by a new kind of fear. The immediate threat was over, but now came the harder part. Figuring out how to build a life together. Minjun arrived an hour later, soaked from the rain and exhausted. Luna opened the door and immediately pulled him inside. Are you hurt? No, it's over. How? Minjun told her about the recordings, about the leverage he'd used against Kim. Luna listened without interrupting, processing the implications. So you've been recording conversations for years? Yes. As insurance? Yes. That's actually pretty smart. Minjun looked surprised. You're not horrified. I'm horrified by a lot of things about your world, but protecting yourself with information instead of violence, that's progress. Luna, there's something else we need to discuss. What? Kim wasn't entirely wrong about what he said, about this world changing people, destroying them. Luna sat down, gesturing for him to join her. Tell me. I've done things. Luna. Terrible things. I've hurt people, destroyed lives, made decisions that resulted in deaths. If we're going to be together, if you're going to be part of my life, you need to know exactly who you're choosing. Okay. Okay? Minjun, I'm not naive. I know what being the head of a criminal organization means. I know you haven't gotten where you are by being gentle. But knowing it in theory and hearing the details are different things. Then tell me the details. Minjun studied her face, looking for any sign that she was just being brave. Are you sure? I'm sure. So he told her. About the first man he'd killed, a rival who'd threatened his uncle when Minjun was 22. About the businesses he'd destroyed to eliminate competition. About the people who'd disappeared because they'd crossed him. About the violence that had built his empire. Luna listened to all of it, her face growing paler with each revelation, but she didn't interrupt, didn't run, didn't tell him to stop. When he finished, the apartment was quiet except for the sound of rain against the windows. Say something, Minjun said finally. I need a minute. Luna stood up and walked to the kitchen, pouring herself a glass of water with shaking hands. Minjun watched her, waiting for the moment when she'd tell him to leave, when the reality of who he was would finally be too much. Instead, she came back and sat beside him. I have questions. Okay. Do you regret it? Any of it? Minjun considered the question carefully. I regret the necessity of it. I regret that I was born into a world where violence was the only language that mattered. But do I regret protecting myself and the people I cared about? No. And now? If someone threatened me, would you kill them? Yes. Without hesitation? Without hesitation. Luna nodded slowly. And if I asked you not to? I'd try to find another way. But Luna, if it came down to your life or someone else's, I'd choose you every time. Even if it meant becoming someone you don't want to be anymore. Even then. Luna was quiet for a long moment. I don't know if I can live with that. Minjun felt his heart stop. I understand. But, Luna continued, I also don't know if I can live without you. What does that mean? It means I need time to figure out how to reconcile the man I love with the things he's done. It means I need to understand how to be with someone whose past is so different from anything I've ever known. And if you can't, then we'll deal with that when we come to it. Luna turned to face him fully. But Minjun, I need you to promise me something. Anything. I need you to promise that you'll try to find other ways. That violence will be your last resort, not your first. I promise. And I need you to promise that you'll include me in decisions that affect both of us. No more protecting me by keeping me in the dark. Even if the truth is dangerous. Especially if the truth is dangerous. Minjun reached for her hands. Luna, are you sure about this? Really sure? Because once you're fully in my world, there's no going back to who you were before. I know. And you're willing to risk that? Luna looked at him, really looked at him, seeing both the man who'd held her gently on their first date and the man who'd just threatened to destroy a rival organization. Somehow, impossibly, they were the same person. I'm willing to risk it. Why? Because I love you. Not the sanitized version of you that I thought I knew, but all of you. The good, the bad, the complicated, the dangerous, all of it. Minjun pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. I don't deserve you. Maybe not, but you have me anyway. Luna? Yes? What happens now? Luna smiled against his chest. Now we figure out how to build something real together, something honest. It won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. Outside, the rain continued to fall, washing the city clean, and in Luna's small apartment, two people who should never have found each other began the difficult work of building a love strong enough to survive the truth. But in the shadows of the city, other forces were already moving. Kim Dong-wook had backed down, but he hadn't forgotten, and there were others in Minjun's organization who saw his newfound humanity not as growth, but as weakness to be exploited. The real test was just beginning. The bookstore was small, tucked between a coffee shop and a vintage clothing store, in a quiet neighborhood across town. Luna ran her fingers along the spines of first edition classics, marveling at how much her life had changed. What do you think? Minjun asked, watching her explore the space. I think it's perfect. The previous owner was eager to sell. Apparently he's retiring to Florida. Luna smiled. And you had nothing to do with that eagerness? I may have made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Minjun's eyes twinkled. A very generous, completely legal offer. Good. I want to earn this, not have it handed to me. You will earn it. Every day. Luna walked to the large window facing the street, imagining how it would look with new displays, better lighting, comfortable reading chairs. My own bookstore. 6 months ago, I never would have dreamed. 6 months ago, I never would have dreamed I'd be helping the woman I love open a legitimate business instead of planning territorial expansions. Luna turned to face him. Do you miss it? The power, the control. Min-jun considered the question. Sometimes. But then I remember what I have now, and the trade seems more than fair. It hadn't been easy. Transferring power to Jae-sung had taken months of careful planning. There had been challenges from within the organization, rival groups testing their boundaries, federal investigators asking uncomfortable questions. But Min-jun had navigated it all with the same strategic mind that had built his empire. Only now he was using it to dismantle his old life and build a new one. Jae-sung called this morning, Min-jun said. The transition is complete. I'm officially out. How does that feel? Terrifying. Liberating. Right. Luna walked over to him, straightening his tie, a habit she'd developed over the past months. And your new consulting business? 3 clients already. Apparently, there's a market for strategic planning expertise, even when you can't put your previous job title on your resume. Who would have thought? Min-jun caught her hands, holding them against his chest. Luna, I need to ask you something. What? Are you happy? Really happy? Not just making the best of a complicated situation, but actually happy? Luna looked around the bookstore that would soon be hers, thought about the apartment they now shared, the quiet life they were building together. It was so different from what she'd imagined for herself, but somehow it felt exactly right. I'm happy, she said. Are you? I'm happy in ways I didn't know were possible. Even without the empire, the power, especially without them. Min-jun pulled her closer. You know what I realized? What? I spent years building an empire, but I never built a home. Now I have both. This place, our apartment, the life we're creating together. It's worth more than anything I ever owned before. Luna smiled. Even if it's complicated. Even if it's complicated. Even if people from your old life occasionally show up wanting favors? Even then. Though I notice you've gotten quite good at handling those situations. Luna laughed, remembering the previous week when one of Min-jun's former associates had appeared at their apartment. Instead of hiding or letting Min-jun handle it alone, she'd calmly explained that they were no longer in that business and offered the man coffee while Min-jun made some calls to help him find legitimate work. I've learned that your world isn't as black and white as I thought. A lot of those people just needed better options. And you're good at providing those. We're good at providing those. Min-jun spun her around the empty bookstore, both of them laughing. So, Ms. Thompson, ready to become a business owner? Ready as I'll ever be. Though I still think Thompson and Associates Rare Books sounds better than Luna's library. The Associates being me. The Associates being you. I like it. They stood together in their future bookstore, planning displays and events, discussing business loans and inventory. It was mundane and ordinary and absolutely perfect. Min-jun? Yes, thank you. For what? For changing. For choosing this life, choosing me, choosing to be better. Thank you for seeing something in me worth changing for. Thank you for proving that love really can transform people. Thank you for being brave enough to love someone like me. Luna kissed him, tasting possibility and hope and the promise of all the ordinary, extraordinary days ahead of them. Outside, the city continued its endless rhythm of life and business and dreams. But inside the small bookstore, 2 people who had found each other against all odds were building something new, something honest, something real, something worth every risk they'd taken to get there. And in the end, that was the greatest victory of all.